live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome tonight. Civil Society Situation Room urges National Assembly to fast-track electoral reforms and enact them ahead of the 2027 general elections. President Bola Tinubu ends vacation early, set to resume duties on Tuesday. Vice President Kashim Shettima reaffirms government's resolve to link all cities by rail and road. And Benjamin Netanyahu signals possibility of additional strikes on Hamas leaders.
In our business, Nigeria's inflation drops to 20.12% in August, records fifth consecutive decline.
On sports news tonight, Tubi Amushon claims Nigeria's first medal at World Athletics Championship in Tokyo.
And from the nation's capital, it's a plea for reassignment as Justice Musa Liman sends Nnamdi Kanu's medical transfer motion to the Chief Judge.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room is urging members of the National Assembly to expedite all legislative processes on electoral reforms and ensure their passage into law ahead of the 2027 elections. The group warned that Nigeria's democracy is at a crossroads threatened by deepening governance deficits. It further condemned the Senate suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, describing the continued denial of her resumption as a serious threat to the rule of law.
Situation Room calls on the National Assembly to finalize and pass into law pending reforms that will restore confidence in our elections and ultimately our democracy. With off-cycle governorship elections holding in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states before the next general elections, INEC will need to conduct free, fair, and credible elections within internationally accepted standards. Nigerian democracy stands at a crossroad. While the endurance of civil rule is commendable, systemic corruption, cultural fragmentation, and governance deficits continue to threaten democratic consolidation. This administration legacy will hinge on its ability to address economic inequality, restore electoral integrity and foster inclusive governance.
As Nigeria gradually prepares for the 2027 general elections, the United Nations is calling on the country's political leaders to uphold democratic values and shun hate speech. Speaking at a forum on ethical, hate-free politics in Nigeria, organized by the National Human Rights Commission in collaboration with the United Nations, the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, Mr. Mohammed Fall, warned against the growing threat of hate speech and the dangers of misinformation to peace, democracy, and human rights. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
The National Human Rights Commission and the United Nations in Nigeria is holding a roundtable meeting attended by representatives of political parties and other stakeholders from the Independent National Electoral Commission, among others. The Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission speaks on the essence of the meeting. He emphasized the urgent need for political actors to embrace value-driven, inclusive, and rights-based politics. He warns that the increased normalization of hate speech and unethical political practices threatens a country's democratic foundations.
Achieving a culture of responsible and value-laden political process continues to remain a challenge for Nigeria. From the independence of the election management body to unethical actions of political parties, their candidates and agents, to the inappropriate use of security and law enforcement agencies.
With the 2027 elections approaching, the United Nations in Nigeria is advocating the need for political parties to lead by example through issue-based campaigns devoid of insults or divisive rhetoric.
Vibrant political discourse and engagement should be a moment of no greed to anybody, unity and pride. But they can be harmful if hateful language and hostile narrative are allowed and accepted.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, on its part, calls on political parties and their candidates to exercise restraint and embrace the provisions of the Electoral Act, particularly provisions constituting electoral offences and codes of conduct that encourage civility, tolerance, and mutual respect.
By contrast, ethical politics anchored on fairness, issue-based campaigns within the statutory time frame provided under Section 94, Sub 1 of the Electoral Act 2022, and mutual respect strengthens democracy, promotes peaceful participation, and ensures that the will of the people prevails.
This meeting by the National Human Rights Commission and the United Nations in Nigeria forms part of a broader effort to foster a more inclusive and peaceful democratic culture in Nigeria. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has reportedly cut short his work vacation ahead of schedule and is expected to return to Abuja tomorrow, September the 16th, to resume official duties. The president left for France on September the 4th to spend part of his annual holiday and was initially scheduled to split the period between France and the United Kingdom. According to a statement by the presidential spokesman, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu last week hosted a private luncheon with the French President Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Palace in Paris. During that meeting, both leaders reviewed key areas of cooperation between Nigeria and France and agreed to further strengthen bilateral ties. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the federal government's commitment to linking all cities across the country by road and rail with the aim of ensuring that industries can transport raw materials and finished products seamlessly. The Vice President was speaking at the opening of the second International Railway Conference in Abuja, where a presentation was delivered on the proposed $60 billion high-speed rail project that will connect 4 major cities: Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt. Our SEDAS correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
The 2025 Second International Railway Conference and Expo kicks off with the arrival of Vice President Kashim Shettima. The thrust of the conference is on the opportunities and challenges in railway development in Africa.
The conference seeks to enable railway experts, industry players, and other stakeholders to share knowledge and experience across jurisdictions on emerging trends, funding opportunities, and opportunities of railway services as catalysts for national development.
The event features presentation on the proposed $60 billion high-speed rail that will connect through Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation speaks on the importance of the project.
This project, which is integrated components of high-speed rail, power generation and transmission, LNG infrastructure, and digital backbone, resonates strongly with these priorities and offers immense opportunities for inclusive growth and national integration.
Vice President Shettima highlights efforts to transform the transportation sector in the country.
His Excellency the President has demonstrated time and again our national determination to connect our cities through roads and railways. Our aspiration is for a nationwide industries can convey their products to the market, and where raw materials can move seamlessly from primary producers to industries without hindrance.
On the sidelines of the conference, the Nigerian Railway Corporation signs a memorandum of understanding with the Ajaokuta Steel Company for the manufacturing of train parts in Nigeria.
What this will do to Nigerian Railway Corporation and the Nigerian government is that it will save foreign exchange, and it will make the money, the resources to circulate within Nigeria.
For now, we are working. Ajaokuta is back. Yeah, we are not working at optimal level, but I tell you, some of the integrated parts are not working. And one of such is our foundries and our engineering.
During the 3 days conference, the technical sessions are expected to provide platform for robust conversations around challenges of rail transportation, especially on the African continent. Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
Policing in Nigeria comes into focus, and this time the chairman of the Police Service Commission, the PSC, Mr. Hashimu Argungu, believes a comprehensive mental health evaluation should be a key requirement for police recruitment, describing it as crucial to building a professional and ethical force. He made the remarks at a high-level workshop organized by the United Nations Development Programme on mental health in the policing community in Abuja. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
A 3-day high-level meeting on command leadership for ethical and trauma-informed security response opens in Abuja, with national and international stakeholders in attendance. The meeting, convened by the United Nations Development Programme, is attended by officials of the Police Service Commission, security agencies, partner countries including Germany, the Netherlands and the United Kingdom, as well as officials from Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states. The aim is to promote mental health and psychosocial support in security sector reform, while advancing accountability, gender responsiveness, and rights-based security management.
The police officer is often the most visible face of the social contract between the state and the citizen. How our law enforcement operates can build or erode public trust. This is why UNDP is deeply committed to ethical, trauma-informed, and right-based policing as a cornerstone to sustainable development.
I extend our strong support for Nigeria's commitment to building a security sector that is ethical, rights-based, and trauma-informed. Here in Nigeria, we are already seeing promising steps. Trauma-informed policing modules for gender desks, community outreach that involves trusted leaders, and growing coordination amongst security agencies. These are the building blocks of a security sector that cares and delivers for Nigeria as a whole.
The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Mr. Hashimu Argungu, delivered the keynote address focusing on ethics, mental health, and the future of policing. He emphasized the need for mental evaluation as a mandatory step in police recruitment.
The issue of bringing security to this country. So now we have faced the issue of recruitment in line with the international standards, so that we bring the police officers that the current 21st century needs in Nigeria, and that's what we are on now.
The organizers are hoping to develop strategic guidance to strengthen security institutions, build public trust, and advance stability in Nigeria and the region at the end of the meeting. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
In part 2 after the break, NIMET flood alert sparks concern among residents in vulnerable areas in Lagos and Ogun states. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Civil Society Situation Room urges National Assembly to fast-track electoral reforms and enact them ahead of the 2027 general elections. President Bola Tinubu ends vacation early, set to resume duties on Tuesday. Vice President Kashim Shettima reaffirms government's resolve to link all cities by rail and road. And Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signals possibility of additional strikes on Hamas leaders. Residents of Ogun and Lagos State are on high alert following a fresh warning from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) about imminent flooding in parts of the country. Beyond the forecast, however, lies a pressing concern. How will communities already struggling with poor drainage systems, weak infrastructure, and the impact of recent rains cope with what may unfold? Our correspondent, Kelly Egiga, brings us this report.
It's another rainy day in Nigeria's southwest region. But for many residents of Isheri, it's not another downpour. It's a warning sign. And that's because on September 14, the federal government, through the Ministry of Environment's National Food Early Warning Center, issued a fresh flood alert for 11 states, warning of heavy rainfall that could cause flooding in the coming days. Isheri Onlofi is a community in Lagos which experiences frequent flooding. Olushola, a resident here, unpacks the experiences of living in this community.
They call it Ogun River, so you understand. So, but it normally full every year through the dam. Whenever they open dam like that, so the whole water will flow through this place. Then it will come through this place like this. It will over this place. It will climb this place up to this. You mean the water from the river gets to this level? Yes, exactly. Coming from that place to this place, then it comes to this level. Wow. Then from here it goes through everywhere like that. So the houses here? Through the houses everywhere will be full of water.
Despite consistent advice to evacuate due to rising water levels and flooding ahead, another resident, Seriki Muruf, tells me he has developed coping mechanisms for his family and himself.
Therefore, we always heard about that, but we can't move. This is where I was born and bred. This is my father's and my mother's town. And to leave this place, where do they want me to go? I will only carry the mattresses and few clothes to my my brother's house, because he always accommodates me.
Yet, in this riverside community, it's a different kettle of fish for these children as their laughter fills the air. And while NIMET's alert has sparked fear across flood-prone neighborhoods in Ogun and Lagos and across the country, the Olofi of Isheri is optimistic the federal government will come to their aid.
The dams that are supposed to bring succor to us have somehow added to our troubles. And we hope that we've been trying to liaise with the government so that they can help us check this release of water from the dams. There are things that can be done. It can be better structured. It can be released occasionally so that it doesn't affect our communities as bad as it did in 2023 and 2024. The federal government is doing very much. Through the Ministry of the Environment, recently they sent consultants to the communities to find a way to see what can be done and to the river channel itself. I think the federal government is thinking about dredging the channel so that it can contain more water.
As residents are bracing for impact, some are still haunted by the floods of 2023 that displaced thousands here. Emergency response agencies say they're on standby, but for many Nigerians, trust in official support remains low, with memories of delayed rescue and limited relief still fresh. Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
Right, so let's head to the nation's capital, and Millicent Walker is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Millicent.
Thanks, Ayatunde. It's good to see you. We begin from the courts here in Abuja, where a motion ex parte filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking a court order for his transfer to the Abuja National Hospital for urgent medical care has been referred back to the Chief Judge for reassignment. In a brief ruling, Justice Musa Liman directed that the case file be returned to the Chief Judge following an application by Kanu's counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Uchenna Njoku, noting that the court's annual vacation ends today. Counsel to the Department of State Services, another senior advocate, Adegboyega Awomolo, did not oppose the application, while acknowledging that Mr. Kanu's application was urgent given the health concerns cited. Justice Liman noted that it was filed late. He therefore ordered the case file be referred to the registry for reassignment. Well, staying with the court, the Special Offences Division of the Lagos High Court, sitting in Ikeja, has granted the application of former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele to engage forensic experts to examine WhatsApp conversations on a mobile device marked iPhone 2, which were tendered as evidence in his ongoing trial. In his ruling, Justice Rahman Ushodi held that the defendant is entitled to conduct an independent forensic review, provided that safeguards are put in place to protect the integrity of the evidence. He further ruled that the chain of custody of Exhibit E, the iPhone 2, must be preserved and that the device remain in the court's custody at all times. The judge ordered that the inspection of the evidence be carried out in the presence of representatives of all parties, with each side allowed no more than one lawyer, one forensic expert. The process, he added, must be supervised by a court representative and conducted between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on September the 24th and 26th, 2025. Let's head to some company news now. Infinix Nigeria has unveiled its flagship store at Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja, featuring immersive zones where fans and customers can explore the brand's latest innovations and interact with its smartphones and accessories. The store launch coincided with the official online unveiling of the GT30 Pro smartphone, designed specifically for gamers and performance enthusiasts. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, has more.
Management, partners and customers of Infinix Nigeria converge on the Jabi Lake Mall in Abuja for the launch of the company's flagship store in partnership with Harmony Group Nigeria. The store showcases the various brands of Infinix, ranging from mobile phones, gaming laptop computers, television sets of various screen sizes, accessories, among other items.
Really, if you want to experience the Infinix, community, the Infinix, everything about our devices, everything about our technology, everything about our innovation, we've created this store for that to happen for our customers here in Abuja.
We're a brand that innovates, listens, and always wants to connect with its customers and fans alike.
The goal is to bring Infinix closer to its customers in Abuja under a serene environment where customers can also access after-sales services.
Nigeria remains a priority market for Infinix, and we as a brand, we are committed to give everything Infinix.
I consider my customer first. Accepting this offer from Infinix to partner with them, bringing this flagship store to Abuja, Jabi Lake Mall. It's all about my customers because I want the best for my customers.
It's a great opportunity for even all the youths to take this. When you look at their phones, I was there yesterday, I saw the phones. I was marveled, I was surprised.
An online official unveiling of Infinix's latest phone, the GT30 Pro, is anchored by the company's brand ambassadors, including Nigeria actress Bisola Ayeola. With an AMOLED display, the GT30 Pro is equipped with all the full FPS system and a 3D vapor cooling for top-tier speed and sustained performance.
As you can see, that's the glory that is in my hand. This has been my favorite obsession since it came out.
The GT30 Pro, a powerful gaming machine, and I'll tell you more soon.
Today I was able to play a few games on it. It's a phone for gamers, so if you are a gamer,
that phone is for you.
We will continue to deliver innovations as we go along that match global standard while staying very accessible to our Nigerian consumers.
The excitement continues outside the hall as guests are entertained. Gamers also explore their passion. And to wrap up the event, Infinix rewards its customers with various gift items. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's inflation drops to 20.12% in August, records 5th consecutive decline. That's on Business News, so join us again. You're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Abuja studios. Now let's talk health, where the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, has reaffirmed the Tinubu administration's commitment to eradicating Lassa fever and tackling other emerging infectious diseases, while also strengthening regional health security across West Africa. He made this known at the opening ceremony of the ECOWAS Lassa Fever International Conference 2025 in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. Professor Pate noted that Lassa fever, first discovered in northeastern Nigeria, has continued to claim lives for decades, straining health systems, endangering frontline workers, and undermining regional health security.
Our strength lies in the unity of our responses, in the willingness of our nations to work together, to share knowledge, and to coordinate resources to protect the health of our people. Across West Africa, Lassa fever continues to pose serious threats to lives, livelihoods, and health systems. Nigeria, like several of our neighbors, has borne a significant share of the burden, with outbreaks affecting multiple states each year. The human cost is considerable, and the socio-economic impact is equally profound. Earlier today, we had the ministerial roundtable to discuss how we can collectively push for a vaccine over time that can help us prevent this disease. So this conference offers a timely platform for all of us, and I urge all the scientists, the civil society organizations to really lean in to advocate. Not only do we need to strengthen our national health systems, improve our primary health care, build our frontline workers, engage our communities, but importantly, to foster the research and development and innovation, foster the development of diagnostic tools and vaccines, because ultimately, this disease is local to us.
It's now time to head back to Lagos, where Ayatunde is standing by with more on the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Millicent. 50 students from various tertiary institutions across the country have been awarded scholarship worth 500,000 naira each as part of activities marking the 10th anniversary of Kenyan International West Africa Limited, an indigenous player in the oil and gas industry. The managing director of the company, Victor Ekpeyong, while referencing the giant strides made by Kenyan, said the gesture is part of its initiative towards capacity building and human capital development.
It's the 10th anniversary of Kenya International West Africa Company Limited, and the organization rolls out the carpet to celebrate impact. Guests are drawn from all walks of life to be part of this milestone event, which begins with an opening remark.
This evening is also about the future. As we honor our past, we are reminded that there is still so much work ahead to build a stronger energy industry.
What started as an idea has today made some of the rarest incursions by a local player in the oil and gas industry, according to the managing director.
Only us, if we want to even keep count of the world that would have lost, the world that would abandon, the world that nobody would have talked about again in Nigeria, that our ingenuity have rescued. The last time we did calculation, it was over, the production of those wells is over 30 million barrels of oil.
Kenyan International
As part of activities marking this celebration, 50 students drawn from tertiary institutions across the country get scholarship awards of 500,000 naira each.
I want to say thank you to Kenyon for the scholarship. I really appreciate it, and I'm also wishing them many more success and more projects ahead.
You know your approach. Thank you, Port Harcourt. You know you now.
Even lecturers and vice-chancellors are not left out as they are presented with distinguished service awards.
Congratulations.
Testimonies from various individuals and corporate entities that have had experience with Kenyon attest to their uncommon spirit, including one from former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Obong Victor Atta.
We've been entertained lavishly on the stage, but what Kenyon does is not a song and dance matter. It keeps the lifeblood of this country flowing, because as of today, all we are depending on is this gas and oil. And without people like Kenyon, we wouldn't be here today.
The highlight of the day is the cutting of the special anniversary cake, setting the tone for a more impactful future. With the event concluded, Kenyon International appears charged for greater responsibilities, which hopefully should create more impact in the country's oil and gas industry.
Will Obong is here to take us through what's happening in the world of business. Will.
Thank you, Ayotunde. Nigeria's inflation rate has declined for the 5th straight month, dropping to 20.12% in August from 21.88% in July, and that's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, the agency says the slowdown reflects weaker price pressures across the economy. Food inflation also eased to 21.87% in August, down from 22.74% in July. The NBS linked the drop to lower prices of staples such as rice, maize flour, millet, and soya milk. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, fell to 20.33% year-on-year compared to over 27% a year ago. The Bureau says the trend shows inflationary pressures are continuing to cool. Now, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has rolled out over 1,000 compressed natural gas-powered trucks to begin direct distribution of petrol across Nigeria. The refinery says the move reduces reliance on third-party transporters. At a media briefing in Lagos, Dangote Group's head of corporate communications, Anthony Chejina, described the rollout as a transition from old to new, adding that all 4,000 trucks will arrive by the month's end. Group's president, Aliko Dangote, also dismissed monopoly concerns, saying that the initiative marks a major shift in Nigeria's fuel distribution system. And it's a green close at the NGX for the first trading day of this week. Laddie Williams tells us more.
Another week, another story of winners and laggards on the Nigerian exchange. Let's dive in now to how your money performed from a positive close last week. That's for the whole trading week. Last week, we're back again, 0.79%, 141,000 level for the all-share index. Let's get a check on the gainers now. We see that payments technology service there, e-transact, 16 naira 40 kobo, 9.70%, and that was from a big 40% advance, over 40% advance last week. But I did get a check on the technicals there, and we see the relative strength in index. That's in overbought region right now. And we see Regal Insurance also on that list. Let's get a check on the losers chart now. We see the likes of make the calls. That's 3 naira 55 to close, down a big 9.90%. So investors will have their eyes this week on interest rate decisions globally and locally. But today, the bulls win.
Thank you, Laddie. While we wait for that MPC decision next week, let's see the snapshot of closing numbers for other major global equities. And that's business news. It's back to Ayotine for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. Still to come on the news at 10. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signals possibility of additional strikes on Hamas leaders. That's on the foreign scene. Please join us again. Welcome back. Let's now join Simon Pusey with our international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not ruled out further strikes on Hamas leaders following last week's attack in Qatar, saying they would not have immunity wherever they are.
Mr. Secretary Marco, your visit to our...
Speaking at a joint press conference with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Mr. Netanyahu said every country had the right to defend itself beyond its borders. Israel's decision to target senior Hamas leaders in Qatar, a close US ally, drew international outrage and criticism from US President Donald Trump. Hamas said 6 people were killed, but that its leaders survived.
You don't have such sovereignty when you are effectively giving a base to terrorists and a place where they can ply their gruesome trade. So it's the right of every country under international law to defend itself beyond its borders against those who would kill their citizens, murder them en masse.
Utah's Governor Spencer Cox has told US media that Charlie Kirk's alleged killer is not cooperating with authorities and has not confessed to carrying out the shooting. Suspect Tyler Robinson was taken into custody some 33 hours after Mr. Kirk, a 31-year-old right-wing activist, was shot dead in Orem on Wednesday. Mr. Cox, a Republican, said people around Mr. Robinson had been cooperating with the investigation.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating.
Romania says a Russian drone has breached its airspace, the second NATO country to report such an incursion. Romanian fighter jets were in the air monitoring a Russian attack in Ukraine on Saturday and were able to track the drone near Ukraine's southern border. In a statement, Romania's defense ministry said it detected the Russian drone when 2 F-16 jets were monitoring the country's border with Ukraine after Russian air attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure on the Danube. Brazil's president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, has defended the trial which saw his predecessor in office, Jair Bolsonaro, sentenced to more than 27 years in prison for plotting a coup. Lula dismissed the description by US President Donald Trump of the trial as a witch hunt, saying that it was a historic decision which safeguards our institutions and the democratic rule of law. The Brazilian leader said he had written an open and frank dialogue with US President Donald Trump, who has imposed 50% tariffs on Brazilian imports. Nepal's newly appointed interim prime minister says she will be in the post for no longer than 6 months. Sushila Karki said she would hand over to the new government, which will emerge after elections in March next year. Her appointment comes after more than 70 people were killed during anti-corruption protests, which ousted Nepal's government. The mass protests, sparked by a ban on social media platforms, started on the 8th of September and over the course of 2 days descended into chaos and violence, during which politicians' homes were vandalized and Parliament was set on fire. A large truck carrying bottles of soda has fallen into a sinkhole in Mexico City. Authorities had cordoned off the site before the truck sank rear first further into the sinkhole. Initial reports suggested that a collapsed drainage system had caused the sinkhole in Mexico City's most populous borough.
Owen Cooper, Lassa.
And the British actor Owen Cooper has become the youngest male ever to win a Primetime Emmy Award in a night dominated by Netflix's acclaimed drama Adolescence. Cooper was named the Best Supporting Actor in a limited series for his portrayal of a schoolboy accused of murdering a classmate. The 4-part drama also won Best Limited Series, as well as prizes for its directing and writing.
What are you looking for? You're making a big mistake. He's only a kid.
Dad, I haven't done anything.
Adolescence was widely praised by critics and viewers for its exploration of the impact of smartphones and social media on teenagers.
I was nothing about 3 years ago.
I'm here now. So I think if you're listening, you're focusing, you just step out your comfort zone a little bit. Who cares if you get embarrassed? You know, anything can be impossible. But a big thanks to my parents, to my mum, my dad, my family, the ones who love me and the ones who I love.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Women's 100 meters hurdles world champion Tobi Amusan has handed Nigeria its first medal at the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo in a thrilling race won by Switzerland, Taji Kambuje, who claimed a shock gold in the final earlier today. Kambuje clocked a national record of 12.24 seconds for victory over a loaded field. Amusan took silver in 12.29 seconds, with the American Grace Starr claiming bronze in 12.34 seconds. Olympic champion Marcel Russell finished 4th with 12.44 seconds. And Sweden's Armando Duplantis has set a new world record of 6.30 meters as he successfully defended his world pole vault title in Tokyo earlier today. Duplantis had already wrapped up the competition with a winning vault of 6.15 meters before raising the bar another 15 centimeters. He went clear on his third attempt in what was his 14th world record in a discipline in which he is totally dominant. And at the conclusion of events on day 3 of the World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, the United States lead the medal table with 5 gold and 2 bronze medals and have picked 7 medals in total. Kenya are on the second spot with 2 gold and a bronze medal, while completing the top 3 is Canada with 2 gold medals. Tobi Amusan's silver medal earlier today also placed Nigeria on the medals table on the 16th spot at the conclusion of the day's event. The Nigeria Football Federation has finalized arrangement for the under-20 boys Flying Eagles to sharpen their skills and competition readiness with 2 friendly games against host nation Chile and Australia ahead of this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals. The Flying Eagles will take on host nation Chile on Saturday, September the 20th, while the clash against Australia will be on September the 23rd. And Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta says his team's Champions League agony last season will help them in this season's campaign as they bid to win the competition for the first time. The Gunners lost to eventual winners PSG in the semi-finals, and Arteta believes his team were the wiser for it ahead of the opener at Atletico Bilbao on Tuesday. Fat Sports is back to you, Ayo.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Civil Society Situation Room is asking the National Assembly to fast-track electoral reforms and enact them ahead of the 2027 general elections. President Bola Tinubu has cut short his 2-week vacation and is set to resume duties on Tuesday, September the 16th in Abuja. Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed government's resolve to link all cities by rail and road. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Do have a good one.